In this year's presidential debates, the word climate hasn't been mentioned a lot. Yet, in the wake of the Hurricane Sandy, a natural disaster that closed down one of the biggest cities in the world, climate has been claimed a deciding factor on Tuesday's election. Climate change has long made headlines, but has failed to resonate into the public. But is the destruction of Hurricane Sandy a result of the effects of global warming? Damon Matthew joins us today to shed a light on that issue. And Damon, as a professor at Concordia University and a member of the Environmental and Climate Change Center, could you please tell us how climate change affects natural disasters we're seeing today?
It depends a lot on the natural disaster. It's always very hard to link climate change to any particular event, but my position is that climate change is occurring, and everything that goes on in the atmosphere right now is in the context of climate change. If you look at hurricanes, as an example, hurricanes derive their energy from warm ocean surfaces, and so it's pretty clear that once a hurricane occurs, a warmer ocean will make that hurricane more intense, and that may have been part of what happened with Hurricane Sandy.
But Damon, scientifically speaking, what is it that makes the difference in the intensity of, for example, hurricanes?
The way hurricanes work is they form in the tropical Atlantic, and they intensify by evaporating water from the ocean surface, and that evaporation transfers energy to the atmosphere, which then fuels the storm. And so, all else being equal, a warmer ocean surface will result in more evaporation, which will result in more energy being transferred to the storm. So, the reason why hurricanes occur in the tropics is because they have a lot of energy available from the warm ocean temperatures. And so if those temperatures go up, as they have been, that will tend to make more energy available for storms, and so the hurricanes that do form will become more intense in a warmer climate.
But is there anything that can be done realistically to ease the intensity of these disasters?
Well, ultimately we need to decarbonize our economy and move away from fossil fuel energy, stop emitting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.
Okay, and how can we as individuals make a change?
Well, try to minimize your carbon footprint, I guess. There's a lot of misinformation about climate change, and so partly just making climate change a political issue, I think is really important. I think it's important that the Canadian government takes action on climate change. Certainly the Conservative government has not taken any action on climate change, and Canada is really lagging behind the rest of the world in terms of promoting clean energy sources. And so I think there's a role for citizens to advocate on behalf of climate change, on behalf of to encourage the Canadian government to take this seriously as an issue. In some senses, the Hurricane Sandy, I think it did get attention as a climate change issue, and it may have brought the issue back to the forefront again. I don't know, people forget about stuff until it hits them in a very personal way, and just everything that we can do to keep climate change on the political agenda is important.
Well, a lot of interesting points. Thanks a lot for your time, Damon.
My pleasure.
That was Dr. Damon Matthews, Associate Professor at Concordia University.